Let's have some fun. So 2024, I made my predictions. I'm gonna recap this video right now, see if I was right, and then we're gonna tell you exactly what happened in 2025 and stick around to the end because I'm gonna predict what I think is gonna happen in 2026. What are my predictions? And let me see if we were right or wrong. The big topic that everyone's been talking about right now is what's gonna happen with delinquency. Right now, we're at about a 0.15, so 0.15% of delinquency rate, which from what CMHC is saying is the lowest recorded historically, that we've seen actually a 20% increase in the amount of people that are pulling from savings and relying on other means to afford their mortgage. We are seeing going into this year that there is gonna be an effect that we are seeing stress for people with mortgages in today's market. So I wasn't completely wrong. We didn't see too much delinquency happen this year, but at the end of the day, we did see it rise from the 0.15 to 0.22. You know, we haven't really seen those effects, or people are managing and they're making it work. We'll see what happens into 2026, given that a lot of those renewals from 2021, if they took 5 years, are going to start coming due. So it'll be interesting to see if that does have the effect in the next 2 years. But what I do think is gonna happen is with the flood of inventory, you're gonna see one of two things happen. You're gonna see sellers who have already built up their equity, who are ready to either move on, whether it be a downsize, or they're looking for that upsize property where they've built up some equity. That being said, I also have that other side of it all too, where they've had their money, they've made their money. They may not take the price that they would have got 3 months ago, 4 months ago, but based on everyone's life situation, I think you're gonna see a mixture of some sales that are just gonna sell it to get out of there and do what they wanna do and move on with their life. And you're gonna see some sales that might be holding on to prices that may not be there anymore. That was pretty good, I must say. What we saw going into 2025 was exactly this. Given 2025 was a unique year in 2025, we saw kind of a dead market January into February. Trump gets elected, so that did have an effect. And in our economy, we also had our Canadian elections, which were put through for April. We actually didn't even see a March-April market this year. I think a lot of economical issues and a lot of other factors played into that. We didn't really even see much of a seasonal market as well. We kind of just saw a little blimp in June. There was some confidence, and then honestly, we didn't really see much more happen after that. The ones who have been there for 20, 30 years kind of accepted, you know, this is time for us to make the move. And then what we did see, what was on the market with so much inventory, a lot of people who didn't need to sell, hoping for a price, just sat on the market. That was pretty much what we saw for the most of 2025. I think your biggest opportunities in 2024 are gonna be from an investment standpoint, purchasing properties that are gonna need work, rehab, renovations. Those properties historically, they're gonna sell at the lowest prices. Where the opportunity is for those properties right now, if you're an investor, you're buying this property for a much lower monthly cost because you are dealing with higher interest rates. And instead of putting the money into the mortgage, you're actually putting it into the home. When those rates do come down, prices do kind of elevate, you're gonna make up your money because it's gonna be an equity play because you've put your money into the home. And I think that's correct in some ways. And I think what we didn't see coming this year in 2025 was the amount of immigration, students, PRs that actually were redacted. So a lot of the college or tertiary markets there, they saw a lot less students come to the market. What we started to see a lot more of is actually investment properties that were cash flowing with 20% down. We haven't seen this in a while. So yes, buying something that needed a renovation, maybe a rehab, does work. But I would say and argue that this year in 2025, and I'd say moving into 2026, there's some opportunity out there to pick up properties that you may not need to rehab or renovate. We're seeing a lot of turnkey properties that you're able to purchase, rent out right away, and start that cash flow. So if that's an opportunity, I think that was something that I would say, you know, and encourage if you don't have the capital. There were some good opportunities that we saw come back that we probably didn't see coming. This is the perfect market for upsizing right now. Whether it's a need for an extra bedroom, more space, bigger home, you're gonna be able to purchase these properties at a much lower price, almost 20% from the peak that we saw. That means that you need less money to put down, you're starting with a lower mortgage, and keep in mind, these rates that we're seeing right now are probably some of the worst rates we've seen historically in the last 20 years. Still bullish on that one there. I think, you know, great opportunity, 2026, 2027 even, for that upsizer. I think it's still the year of the upsizer. As you start to see your rates, we're still in that, you know, those 4.5% rates right now. You'd like to see them come under 4, but again, where the opportunity is the property and the product you're getting. Case in point, throughout Mississauga, just as an example, we saw the semi-detached and the townhouse freehold markets come down almost 10% in some neighborhoods this year. From a condo townhouse with maintenance fees under about 800,000, let's call it, you can now pick up a semi or a townhouse that's freehold, which we're selling at 1.2 at one point, in the 800s, which we have not seen in a long time. So if you're in that condo, yeah, you didn't make as much, or maybe you're breaking even or you're getting your money back out, but the opportunity is still what you're upsizing to and when that market's gonna come back. First time buyers, Get in that market if you can, get in anywhere you can. It's gonna be still a struggle until these rates really come down and we see prices subside, which I don't think I don't think we're gonna really see a major change in the values of properties over the next year or so. I think you're still gonna see the spring market will be your bread and butter. If we start to see the rates come down into the summer, into the fall with a little more confidence and consumer confidence, I think you're gonna see a fall market where you'll see a little push towards the end. Correct and not correct. I would say my prediction there for the first time buyers, I think this wasn't your year. If you are looking for a condo right now, that 1-bedroom, 1+ den, you know, that entry level product, I think actually now is your time. We've actually seen the market come down 8.6% for just condos alone. And the biggest struggle right now for anyone selling a condo is in the 1-bedrooms, the 1+ dens in the studios. Those units right now, people are almost giving away. We're seeing pricing that we saw in 2019. So not bad, all in all. You know, 2024 predictions, some goods, some bads. I'd say some things were right. That being said though, 2025, what actually did happen? 2025 was a very interesting year. This was one of the first years we saw that a lot of the political stress that was going on, a lot of outside factors between tariffs, jobs, security, job loss, that really affected a lot of people's purchasing powers. Also just confidence. Do I have a job? Do I not? The people who had to sell sold, whether it was, you know, a death, divorce, you had a baby, you needed more size. The people who needed that immediate shelter was the ones that were really transacting. And we saw it with the pricing. We saw the people who were clustered in the top 5 to say 8 homes on a market. When I'm saying that, I mean, if my house is worth $1 million, I'm priced at $1 million, if not $975. And the 4 to 5 other homes that are priced around me at that price point are the ones selling. And then there's about 15 to 20 that are all above $1.05 million, let's call it. That's why you saw so much inventory on the market this year. We saw record highs. We haven't seen so much inventory since the early 90s. So I do think 2025 was a year of the reset. People who were serious and motivated made the moves. The ones who weren't really didn't. So my prediction for 2026, investors, if you're an investor looking to get into the market, I think your opportunity in the market, if you're going sub 5 units, duplex, triplex, those properties, look for something that's cash flowing already. Look for something that has a vacant upstairs or a vacant unit, or is completely vacant so you can get market rents. Get that turnkey property at market value today and just get it and let it start making you money today so you don't have to deploy as much capital. Again, like I said, upsizers are still gonna be the bread and butter right now. And then again, downsizers, you're still holding the ball if you're going to a condo. Downsizing in the terms is very different. We like to call it right sizing at our team, because what it is sometimes it might not mean you're going from the 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 2,500 square foot home. It just might mean that you're gonna go either into a bungalow, maybe a 3-bedroom, 3-washroom, smaller home, and then the next downsize to a condo will be in about 5 to 8 years. Those are gonna be your 3 biggest opportunities into 2026. Love to hear your comments below. Love to hear if you guys are thinking, I'm right, wrong. What's your predictions? Where do you think the market's going? Do you think we're gonna see an increase? Are we finally done? Are we sitting at the bottom of the curve? Let's hear it.